Peace, everyone. We are live again. Dynasty Mirror Search for Huru. Thank you all. Thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you share. Make sure you subscribe. Also, please visit dynastamir.com. Again, please visit dynastamir.com tour. We are rolling to Sierra Leone November 20th through December 3rd. Again, November 20th through December 3rd. We are rolling to Sierra Leone. If you're interested in joining us, please visit Danfo, DANFO Africa. Again, please visit Danfo, DANFO Africa to learn more. We have around 5 spots remaining. Again, we have around 5 spots remaining. So again, please visit Danfo, DANFO Africa. Also, people are always asking, Dynast, where you get the shirt from? You know, the new E5's dope shirt. So let me share the screen real quick. Make sure you visit my store, Ileamir, 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 ILEAMIR.com. Again, please visit ileamir.com and you can see the selection of gear. You know, when I'm always out, people are like, where do you get the Africa is my therapy shirt? Where you get this shirt? Where you get that shirt? So visit ileamir.com. Again, please visit ileamir.com. Fitzgerald Stevens, brother Fitzgerald, will be joining us here shortly. Again, brother Fitzgerald will be joining us here shortly. Let me text him real quick. Guys. Okay, but anyways, let me start off with this. So, how do I say this? So, if you guys know, Roe versus Wade has been overturned. It's been overturned. I'm not mad. I'm not upset. I support it. And I'll say this: at one time, I was a liberal. I supported abortion. In fact, I want to say I got hustled a couple. I got hustled a couple times and paid probably for somebody else's abortion. Laugh out loud. But again, I hold on, Fitzgerald, we can't see you. Fitzgerald. I'm saying we can't see you, Fitzgerald. But you know, I like I said, I'm for it. This is the problem I have. You know, I mean, I'm for the overturning of Roe versus Wade. I'm for it. And like I said, at one time, I was in support of abortion, but once I had my son, you know, I don't support it. I don't support it anymore. So I'm for it being overturned. What was I gonna say? This is the problem I have, and we got Brother Fitzgerald on. Here in Atlanta, we have a problem. I'm saying I've never seen anything like this before. The amount of youth, black youth, that's being murdered and killed in the streets here in Atlanta. It's unprecedented. I've never seen this before. Every other day, a child, children are being murdered here in Atlanta. No one says nothing, or if it's brought up, for some reason, it becomes the white man's fault. It becomes a white man's fault for black on black death. Everyone has an excuse. You know, it's always deflection. It's other groups of people do it. When it comes to the amount of black on black death here in Atlanta, or black on black death just in America, period. No one says nothing as excuse. But for some reason, they overturned Roe versus Wade. Now, it's outrage. Here in Atlanta, they're gonna have protests at the Capitol at 6 p.m. They're gonna march on the Capitol today. Watch how they start tearing stuff up. Watch how they start rioting. You talk about January 6th, what happened in 2021. Now let's see once stuff starts getting watch and see once stuff starts getting torn up over not having the ability to abort babies. Now I'm talking about not having the ability to abort babies. I know people say, well, what about rape? What about incest? I understand there's, you know, there's instances or situations that are one off. I get that. But the vast majority of abortions aren't because of that. But again, with me, it's just more the priority. Like our priorities are just out of line. Like I said, the amount of black on black death and murder that's going on in America is outrageous. And we got an excuse. We got an excuse for it. If you call it out, we got excuses for it. We make excuses for it. And then if you call it out, you know, you're called a coon, or we get the excuse, well, other folks kill other folks. But when it comes to having the right to abort babies, I'm talking about let's march on this Capitol building. Let's tear this up. They're already talking about we're going to have a night of terror because of this being overturned. That's the problem. That's what I don't understand, Fitzgerald. It's just how we prioritize things. That's what I don't understand. But go ahead, Fitzgerald.
Good afternoon, Dynast. Good afternoon, Search for Uru audience. Wow, I didn't expect you to come off the hit like this, but no, I should have, knowing what I know about you, and it's a subject needs to be talked about. I've heard on both sides of the argument. Let me make it emphatically clear. I am pro life. You know, I believe abortion is nothing short of murder. Well, people say, well, the woman has the right to choose for her body. Yeah, that's cool. Isn't that part of the man's body too? I mean, he doesn't have any choice whatsoever. I find it ironic that people who march so heavy and strong for this, had their parent would have been a pro-abortionist like they advocate against, they wouldn't be here. But nevertheless, I do believe in a person's choice, but this is a different venue here. I mean, being we can't interview the child yet because the child can't speak for themselves or herself. It's a very controversial thing. I mean, abortion, although it's not really talked about in our community much. When I say the community, I'm talking about the Black American in this nation. I've only heard one guy really addressed it very, very strong, and that was Counselor Dennis Sperling on his YouTube channel. The fact that how many several millions of Black babies who have been murdered because of this heinous practice. How great our population, how much larger our population would be now. And once again, it's we're not here to run a popularity contest. I think it's high time for people to pick a side. I mean, to either.
Fitzgerald, if I can interject, Fitzgerald, I'm so sorry. You brought up the whole popularity contest. You know, somebody told me the other day, well, Dynast, man, if you just didn't talk about this issue, you didn't talk about that issue, you know, where you would be right now. And I'm like, no, some of this stuff has to be spoke on. It has to. You know, I could just come on here all day, be like Derrick Jackson. You know, the Black woman is God. It's the white man is the white man's fault for everything. You know, it's racism's fault for everything. White man's fault for everything. Black woman is God. I could just pander if I wanted to. And trust me, how good I was at sales, I would be a great panderer. But it's not me. Like, it's not me to play the pandering game. It's not me. I can't do it. I can't do it. Go ahead, Fitzgerald. I'm sorry about that.
No, you don't suppose to. You don't supposed to play the game. I mean, it's a very very real live issue. You know, we have a guy right here or a lady. Laws have domain. Laws have the domain, or I guess dominion, of males and females' bodies. Stop the lies. What did I say that was a lie? See, get out your feelings now. Get out your feelings. What did I say was a lie? Everyone's sitting up here far as pro-abortion or against abortion or for it. You know, okay, that's your choice. What if your mother would have took that stand for you? You wouldn't even be up here, you know, be marching on. So you see how hypocritical that is. That child doesn't have a right to live. That child is an independent soul, just like you are. I mean, and far as things, the fact that it is being protested. Okay, let's see what you're protesting about. The right to murder children. Let's really break it down. The right to get out there and snuff out the life of another. That's what you're protesting about. That's what you're going to talk about rioting about. No, it gets real, and let's just take the political thing out of it. Let's take the look at the damage that it has done since it was implemented. What was that, Dynast, about 1974, 74, 73 when that passed? No, and it's a very, very uh, close, close personal subject to people. Now, for a man who never had children, okay, no, that's a motivator for me. But thank God my mom didn't do that to me or my two brothers and stuff. Thank God. But with, back around her generation, the sanctity of life was more celebrated than it is right now. I don't know what happened, but surely we can't. But surely we can't think that there's not going to be consequences far as decisions that have been made there. I mean, the shed of innocent blood. I mean, you can't think you're just going to get, everything's going to be cool and dandy. No. So once again, Dynas, I mean, I'm glad I didn't have a time to prepare for this. Because, and with my personality, man, and yours, I know we're not men to go around and tippy toe on that. I think that's one of the reasons why you and I are respected on both our protected panels, because people can depend upon us for truth. We're going to call a spade, and no, we're not here to offend. No one's here to offend you, ladies and gentlemen. We're just having dialogue discussions, and people will say, well, that's your opinion. Well, no, my stuff is fact. It's not opinion at all. No, so it destroys. I mean, what good can come out of personally? What good can come out of this? What good has come out of this? And if someone can paint that to me, and maybe, and no, there's nothing you can say to me to change my mind on that. Amir and I are very, very pro family. It destroys the family. No, if you say, well, it's the woman's responsibility, I beg to negate. I say it's both the male and the female responsibility equally. They have a created life, but I find it very, very ironic that the man don't get no say at all. No, he just totally out the pitch. And is that proper? Is that right? No. So we have to take a look at this. There was enough outcry with this, and also there was enough outcry with this that Supreme Court felt that something needed to be done, and they moved how they moved, which I agree with their decision.
Somebody Ryan brings up a good point. So Fitzgerald, if a woman has a right to have an abortion, say she chooses to have the baby, and a man says, you know what, I don't want to be involved, I ain't paying no child support, should he also have that right as well?
No, no. That right was negated, man. Before you, hey, dude, you should have thought about this before you decide to put life into a woman. I mean, you can't that you can't. Oh no, do over. I don't want anything. No, no, no. I mean, if we're gonna hold the woman the such a strict thing like that, of such a strict law set of laws and rules, as maybe one could call it that, the man should be equally held. There ain't no time
Mm-hmm.
for that. That dude, this is plenty of birth control at Walmart, CVS, your local pharmacies, vasectomies.
Mm-hmm.
There's plenty of that. So you're going to go out there and play, and do things like that. Don't think, okay, well, I get a do over now. No, that child has to be taken care of. What we're going to do? Put him on the state, or would you prefer to go to the child support system? Either
Right.
way, that's your responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, nope, I'm going to off out. You should have thought about that before you put your penis in a vagina. Personal responsibility in my life. No, I don't know if we're gonna get many likes on this show, Diane.
No, it's all good. I think the conversation needs to be had.
You know, I mean, and maybe it's maybe it's a lot of mouth breaking. I grew up in, as you guys often heard, I grew up in the rural South, Alabama. Um, and had a different type of bending. It was the family was so dominant down there. Man, we wouldn't dare think about, you know, put a child up for abortion. We somebody's going to raise that child. Some cousin, some grandma. This is where I came from, and being about close to ticks away from 60, my mindset is a little different. You know, I mean, I didn't posterize to this modern generation because I'm not of this generation. And were there women back in my day doing it? Sure. But the little village that I lived in, the little black community that I lived in, it was unheard of. No, there's someone's going to take care of that child. And you know what? And it's not saying that we really adopted. You could go to grandmother, you could go to cousins, you had aunts, you had uncles. Someone was not going to let that child fall through the cracks. That's the area I come from. That's what shapes my thinking, among other things. And once again, being I never had children by myself, and that's something I always wanted. I mean, oh gosh, that. So many things go into it. No, does a woman have a right to choose? Yeah, you have a right to choose. You have the right to choose before you become pregnant. Once the child is there, that's the rules are off. The rules we just can't say we do it. I hold you the same responsibility, woman, as I do. I just said for the man. You know, or if it's gonna be a thing like that, we'll make it where uh, the abortion can't be given not unless the father signs off. Well, they say, what about rape and incest? I I hear you. I hear you. Now, I didn't say it was any easy way, but both genders are responsible. Because if you ask that child, more than likely you can interview that child, Prince Amir. I believe that child will say, "I want to live just like you."
Right. I agree. And I agree also with the father should sign off on it if because what if the father wants what if the father wants to keep the baby and the woman doesn't?
Well, he has the parental rights. He has parental rights just as much as the mother.
No. I'm talking about she's pregnant before she gets an abortion.
I don't know. I don't know. Hey, my number one concern is not the father, is not the mother, is the child. But should the child have to pay for that decision of their parents with their life?
No. Guys,
I
links in
saw
the
one,
chat room.
I saw one of the most heart wrenching things I ever seen in my life, and you could say Mel was pulling on the heartstrings and whatever. I don't know, but it disturbed me, and I happen to think about I'm thinking about it right now. I saw this cartoon where this doctor you were seeing inside the mother's stomach, and there was a scissors coming out the baby, and what the baby was doing, he was pulling on a biblical cord, trying to get his mother's attention. No, no, we're not trying to use a whole bunch of thing on your heart. This is a life just as precious as yours. But this is a life, and it's even more heinous because that child is not capable of speaking for themselves. It's just wrong. No,
All right. Super Mike, go ahead and unmute yourself. Go ahead.
Go ahead. What's going on, Dynas? Great topic. I'm glad that you tackled this. We disagree on a few things, which is normal. We are going to disagree on something here and there and that, but it should be easy for us to start valuing life. You know, I think the problem with the society is that people use killing to solve problems. Like, you know, there's so many other ways to solve these problems that we have in our individual lives. But the first option, oh, just kill it, and all your problems will be solved. No, a lot of times you have a baby, it civilizes some wild people. You know, we got to start valuing life. If you don't know how to build love in your little private life for a child, then I don't know if you're a good member of society, really. You know, everything is not about just cash like that. And like you said, with the male, with the men, with this what do they call it, financial abortion, I don't agree with that crap either. Because if we start matching, you know, because abortion always been wrong, because just biologically we got to keep going. And yes, women have the baby, but we can't start saying, well, we gonna stop taking care. No, that's going down the wrong path. You know, we got to still take care of our responsibility, but
Right.
you
No,
know they
and
have
you're
a
right. Right. There's feedback coming from you. I gotta mute you. Hello. I gotta mute you for some. Yeah, it's feedback coming from you. No, the point I'm trying to make: if a woman decides she wants to have an abortion, but the father's like, "No, let's have the baby," is that right? Is that right, Super Mike?
Well, if she's not going to die like physically, then I think that she should have the baby.
Okay. Okay, guys, hit the like button again. Please hit the like button. Link is in the chat room. Again, link is in the chat room. If you want to call in, call in. But I agree with what you said, Fitzgerald. I think if a woman that wants to have is considering abortion, that the father should have a say.
Sure. We don't
Yeah, I
never hear
agree with
anything. We never hear anything about that. That you know that I guess that's not real big upon the feminist agenda. You know. No. So, which I care less about what their agenda is. It's very much anti-family. But you know, he has to say in it too. I mean, if I've ran into some a woman talk about you know, woman, well, like she'd be my wife, but talking about, well, hey, we're gonna, whatever, we got irreconcilable difference, and no, I want to leave, and I don't want to kill me. No, I'm gonna fight you with everything I got. I don't really give a, you know, that's you and I can, you know, we don't never have to see each other break bread or chew a piece of chewing the gum over the gum. We don't never have to do anything. But my child, coming after you with that. Now I'll take care of the child. You can terminate your parental rights. Hell, we don't never need to see you. But you're not going to do that. Not without me trying to fight. Give the child over to me. I'll raise him or her. Shouldn't that be my right? I mean, really, should not that be my right? You're a father, not ass. It's bringing much more personal to you.
Yeah, it is. And like I said, in the past, before you came on the show, I supported abortion. I had no problem with it. But now I just, you know what? I'll be down the middle. If a woman decides she wants to have an abortion, the man should have a say as well in the situation. Period.
Right. And then if
I
that
think
goes
I think that's fair. I think that's fair. But then the other question is, if the woman decides, and see, this is the problem. So a woman has, a woman has the right to abort her baby currently without any say from the man. But then if the woman decides to have the baby and the man doesn't want to be involved, should he be forced to be involved? It's like a double-edged sword, Fitzgerald. Because it's like you can't have your cake and eat it too.
You know, it is, and I don't think I'm being naive by the statement.
So what I'm saying, Fitzgerald, not to cut you off, if they want to keep abortion rights, right? If they want to keep abortion rights, we want to abort our babies, we want to. My body, my rules or whatever the saying is. then the man should be able to say, listen, okay, you had a baby, I'm not going to be involved.
Okay. Well, if that's the case, then I, as governor of Florida or any state you want to pick, I'm breaking someone's pocket. I, as the state, will not take care of this child that you conceived. Hey, that's fine for the orphanage I'm getting ready to put it in, or for the or any other adult or relative choose to go in and help financially and raise this child. I'm breaking your pockets. You are going to financially provide this child whether you want. I'll make it where you can buy a Q-tip. This game you want to play? If I was governor, if I was federal judge, two things you don't want to come in front of me. I said this. I said this a few times. If I ever had that power, the honorable Judge Fitzgerald Stevens or governor, whatever, two things you won't want to come in front of me with, because there'd be no mercy for you. Number one, you're drunk driving. Number two, you hurt or touch a child. I will have no mercy on you. So is it right for us, for observant immigrant, Mr. Brandon, Prince Amir, myself, to foot the bill for your negligence because you want to decide to go pay, and so I, as a state, everybody else got to pay for that, but you have your and you get to go do it to someone else? No, sir. The consequences will be deep over that to deter that type of behavior.
But the most honorable Fitzgerald Stevens, Judge Stevens, you would also ban abortion, correct? In your state.
If I was now as a governor, president, governors, judges don't have that power. Supreme Court did. But let's say if I was on the Supreme Court, my vote would have been yes. But that goes along with so many things. I'm in favor of DNA testing at birth. But nevertheless, we have a life. See, mom, dad, bicker all you want. Talk about this, and I ain't this, and I ain't responsible. Okay, I got a little prince here. I got a little princess here. Someone's gonna take care of the show. You don't think me as a state gonna do it right? Okay, y'all don't want that, fine. You don't want them. Okay, we got orphanages. Is there a relative stepping up? Is there someone else? Okay, whoever it is, you're financially responsible for it, and I will break you down where you don't have a Q-tip, or you can't buy one. I'm serious about this. No, this stuff, like all of a sudden you come to your senses after you done bust your nut or got your orgasm, lady, and all that kind of stuff. And all of a sudden, well, no, that's just a collateral damage product. No, sir, no, ma'am. No, sir, no, ma'am.
Guys, hit the like button again. Please hit the like button as you come to the chat room again. Please hit that like button. Observing immigrant, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hi, good afternoon. I just wanted to speak briefly on my experience with abortion. And I've never had an abortion, but two of my sisters have. And in my opinion, it wasn't out of need. It was just out of convenience. So, I find, you said earlier that a lot of people just do it because it's the easier solution, just kill the baby. And, I don't support abortion. When my mother found out she was pregnant with me, my father told her to have an abortion. But it was because he was married and he never told her he was married. So again, it was a matter of convenience. Get rid of the baby because I'm married and I didn't present myself as a married man to you. So, but he was part of my life afterwards. And, I asked him when I was 11, why did he ask my mom? But he never really got into it. I think he was embarrassed because here I was the child that he wanted to get rid of due to convenience. I've been in America for almost 20 years, and I had this friend, and I heard her stories of abortions. She had maybe over 10 abortions, and 5 of them was from the same man and she was in a relationship with this man. She had so many abortions at the same clinic that the nurse had to ask her if she did not know what birth control was. You understand that? So a lot of women are just doing it for convenience. A lot of them haven't been raped. The women I know who've been raped never got pregnant. Incest. One of my cousins, she was molested by her stepfather. He got a vasectomy to make sure he didn't get her pregnant. Yeah. So the cases of rape and incest are so far and few between in terms of pregnancy that a lot of women are just using it for convenience. As a mother of 3 children, I could not imagine aborting them. I mean, I guess there could be situations where you could feel desperate, but when you hold a baby in your hand, there's no way, and I'm not even a Christian, there's no way on this green earth that you could just take the life of something just because you want to define it now not as a baby but as what do you want to say, glands or cells or whatever. You have to minimize the existence of this child into something minimal, so it's no longer a baby. Only if you want it, it's a baby, but if you don't want it, it's just a clump of cells, right? So it's just a matter of convenience. That's all I have to say. Thank you very much. Bye.
No problem. Thank you for joining. Go ahead, Brandon.
Observing immigrants. You sure that's all you had to say? Because you're usually a little more long-winded than that.
No, I'm not, Brandon. Thank you.
Hey, look, man, this is just another classic example of people in our community, you know, being very hypocritical, always lying, and really wondering why we're in the state we're in when we're 100% responsible for why we are where we are. I bring it up all the time that I know a woman who has had 18 abortions. I used to say 16, but she's had 2 more abortions since last time I touched on this, which is, I think, only about maybe 4 or 5 months ago. The person is actually my own cousin, right? And pretty much the abortion in America has went from something that might be used among the Black community, has went from something that might be used in case of a medical emergency, to now it's just a tool, right, that is utilized when people make bad decisions, knowingly make bad decisions. They go into situations they know are bad, and it kind of gives them a get out of jail free card, right? For example, in my case with the person I know, she was dating a guy who was a really nice guy. She wouldn't stop disrespecting the guy. She'd get drunk and she'd be disrespectful to the guy. And he told her time after time, hey, I'm not going to tolerate that. I gave you a lot of chances. You need to stop that. So much so that after she went to all of her single friends who ain't got a man, she finally broke down and just told me, like, man, I feel like I'm going to lose this guy I got. You know, I asked her what's going on. She's like, he doesn't like the way I talk to him disrespectfully. And she talked about when she would get drunk, she would just, like, her mouth was really loose. Well, she had ended up getting pregnant by this guy 2 different times, and he never knew about it. She just went and got an abortion. At this point, this woman is using abortion as a contraceptive. I told her, I said, why don't you just put on a condom? Or why don't you just get birth control? You know you're sexually active. You're with somebody who you like. You know you're not going to want to wrap it up. Oh, I don't know. I just don't feel like taking it every day. Oh, get a shot. Oh, I don't want to gain weight. All this type of stuff. Abortion has been a net loss for our community. Why do you think we have the highest rates of STD transmission in our community? Because we love boning without condoms. But if you bone without condoms, there's another thing you know that's going to happen. Pregnancy. So it's not like you're going into this situation not knowing the results of your actions, so that in a way to where you wouldn't be able to preemptively address the potential for, you know, pregnancy. You're literally just doing it mindlessly, not giving a damn about the lives that you're taking, just so you can have a good time. And these women who are doing all these abortions, 18, 19 abortions, they're not doing this stuff. And they were reckless with abortion. It's fact. Look, they're not doing this stuff because, you know, I'm in college, I'm in med school. It really would like mess up my life. It really spin me for a loop, interfere with something I got planned. And I'm speaking for personally, the only reason they're getting abortions is so they could keep going out and getting drunk partying, using drugs, e-pills, and all that stuff. The baby is just an inconvenience for them when it comes to partying, right? It's not because they're trying to do something progressive with their life. If you look at the women who abuse abortions the most, they already have a bunch of kids out of wedlock. They have a bunch of kids by a bunch of different dudes. You go look at the dudes. The dudes are recidivists. They're in and out of jail over and over again. And I'm not speaking just about my experience in this case. It's about all of them. All you have to do is look at the resume of the person. There are too many options for contraception for Black people to be having unwanted pregnancies, Dynas. And these women aren't getting abortions in the first month where you just take a pill or get a shot and it's like a form of late stage contraception, baby's gone. They're getting abortions at 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, Dynas. Just the real epitome of evil. And our community has suffered from this the most. Dynas, our women abort 1,000 babies like in a day or something ridiculous like that. We are the smallest part of the population, but we account for almost 50% of the abortions. That doesn't make any sense. You're outnumbered, but you are matching all other groups combined, right, in the amount of abortions you're getting. That ain't all medical related. That ain't all, oops, I made a one-time mistake. That is a person that is a group of people who have a pronounced disregard for life. And you can tell by the way we kill each other up, right? We kill each other up and we abort our wombs. We have a sickness. And this law is good even though it doesn't outlaw abortion. Go just learn for a second and realize it just puts it back in the hands of the state, which is where it always should have remained. Because here's the reality. The people should decide if they want to accept abortion. Because these little bonquishas ain't paying for it. We who are against abortion are now forced to become party to aborting children when we're against that. And the citizens should be allowed to decide if they want to be a part of aborting children, not the federal government forcing us to do it. Dynas, did you know that in this country, 54% of people think abortion should be illegal? Did you know that?
Didn't know.
Only 44% of people think abortion should actually be legal. And those people are probably people who are convinced by some little lying little heifer talk about abortion protects women. No, abortion does nothing but protect Black people from the consequences of their actions. You just love getting skeeted in, don't you? You just can't. Dynas, she can't do it unless she gets skeeted in. That's the only difference. Either you're getting skeeted in, let them skeet on your face. You don't have to bring a baby into this world because you had a fling with Ray Ray or you sleep with somebody's husband. Just get your tubes tied or something. If you don't want kids, you got 3, 4 kids, you barely can take care of. Go get your tubes tied. You know what I'm saying? You don't gotta get skeeted in. That's all I'm saying.
Go ahead, Fitzgerald. Unmute yourself. Guys, hit the like button again. Please hit that like button. Go ahead, Fitzgerald.
Hey, Brandon. And very, very great commentary. Respect your point. It's just my observation. Have you noticed too? I've seen a whole lot of Planned Parenthood set up in the Black community. I mean, I remember when I lived up in Buffalo, New York, it was up there. I mean, Tampa is some of the exceptional. Tampa is not like it's a different layout and stuff like that. But clearly, it has. There's a reason for that. Ladies and gentlemen, on this audience, pull up the manifesto of Margaret Singer. Okay, Margaret Singer, and find out why the genesis of abortion was happening. It was directed against us. Please look it out. These are people who Hillary Rodham Clinton say that they're her idol and all that kind of stuff. But look her up. And then so to understand something, you must first study its genesis. You must understand where it came, what was the use of it? What was the primary use it was for? And I suggest, and I suspect it is definitely playing into the original narrative that it was designed for, which is primarily the extermination of you, Black people. Don't take my word. Don't take my word, but look it up. Look it up. And so I'm finished.
Dynast, we have 3 great examples of the excuse making of our people in the comments. The first is the 18 abortions example is definitely an outlier. Triple T, no, it's not. You don't realize, if that's that, Triple T is a man. You don't know women. Women will do heinous shit if they don't think that they will get caught. Have you ever seen 2 girls, 1 cup? Women are capable of some of the most ridiculous shit you ever thought of. Dude, listen, Dynast, let me tell you something. When I was a kid, when I was a kid, look, when I was a kid, my mom and my aunt got into a fist fight. My mom stabbed my aunt in the head with 2 knives. Boom, like that. We were all watching. I was pretty excited because I thought it was like blood sport or something. But we were like, what the hell? My mom goes to jail. She gets like 4 months in jail. Gets out. The next week, she gets in a fight with my other aunt, who is her cousin, though. She busts her in the head with this big ass rock that just used to sit outside of our house by the front porch. Almost killed her. Women will do a lot of things when they don't think that anybody's going to know what they're doing, right? The woman you think is so innocent, boy, you have no idea what that woman has potentially done. That's not an outlier. Even the woman who worked in Planned Parenthood said they were, Dynast, didn't she say when you put the comment, they were reckless with the abortions? Do you think they setting up Planned Parenthoods all over the community? Do you think when they put in a Black community, they did it because we just want to give them more access? No, they said, who is the demographic that is the most reckless when it comes to getting abortions? Where the same woman gonna be in this thing 6, 7 times in a year. It was us. Women will tell you. There are women in this comment. Put a 1 in the comment, ladies, if you guys know that women are reckless as hell when it comes to getting abortions. They'll confirm it. The next thing is Philip Lindsay. On our current trajectory, women can't afford this. We can't afford it. Angela Davis has talked about this for decades. Without support services, Black women don't have the money for childcare. But guess what? The support services are there. They have all the crystal stairs and everything for these women to get childcare. These women just have kids and don't want to go work so they could qualify to get it. We don't need to stop having kids or impede our ability to have kids. What we need to do is hold people who make bad decisions accountable. If you lock her out of the abortion clinic, Pookie know when he skied in there, he knows there's a good chance that she's going to get pregnant and that there's going to be a baby that comes out of that he will not be able to get rid of. Trust me, he will think his decision making. It is in the nature of men to do that. That's why you got some men. Look at Dynast. How many men don't put on a condom every time they make sweet love just to avoid getting put on child support?
Say that one more time. Don't put one on.
How many put on a condom because they want to avoid child support?
Of course.
Let me tell you something. Something that's gonna hit your pockets is a powerful motivator. If it's gonna hurt your pockets, it's a powerful motivator, even for a Pookie, even for a Ray Ray. And look, do this. You don't take care of your kid, your ass going to jail. Lock his ass up, which they do that to an extent. Either way, get this guy off the street having a bunch of unwanted children. That you can do that. They have laws already in that vein that handle that. The answer is not to reduce our population further, which is what Philip Lindsay would ultimately be doing if they don't have childcare. All that stuff about childcare, Dynast, those are excuses. That stuff was never founded in real rational thinking or logic. That was just stuff that people threw out to protect their ability to operate recklessly. And that is what liberal agendas are. They are systems that promote reckless behavior by bringing attention to the marginalized groups in our society and highlighting their degenerate behavior as opposed to addressing what's going on in the community. Oh no, we can't give all the hood rats free college and incentivize them going. What we got to do is give them a get out of jail free card for degenerate behavior, which they don't even use until they 3 or 4 babies in. Right or wrong, Dynast?
Hey,
Right.
Prince, let me say this, and for some people, okay, I think too much emphasis. I think too much emphasis has been placed on the woman with this ultimate. You're the portal to life. Okay, we know that. But damn it, man, you supposed to be a man, a protector, provider, a leader, and you supposed to lead that woman. This shit's on you. No, you don't have dick control. You just have to get the nut that bad. Woman, do you have to you have to let someone hit you raw? I mean, man, do you not make a conscious decision? This stuff is going to cost me. I mean, I certainly have. That's the way I live my life. Have I really counted the cost of that? I think sometimes the men really get off. That too much emphasis is placed with that woman, and I can see it. I can definitely see it. Once again, she is a port of life. But damn it, man, if you don't search your penis in her vagina, you don't have dick control. You just led by that. You ain't gonna never accomplish anything in life, and all you're gonna leave is just a trail of reckless and destruction. But you got to get your nut, though. I understand. That thing was fat. I understand. You throw away not only your future, but you go into deliberately premeditated, like hell, she could get an abortion, or
Philip said we're not going to learn the lesson. Well, Philip, here's my question to you: what is what we're currently doing accomplishing? See, everyone could talk about what won't work. Oh, that won't work. That won't work. But what are we doing now? Is that working? I think it will work because I believe that people have an incentive. If you give people incentives, 9 times out of 10 they go and they take it. They're impacted by those incentives. You can't just be like, oh, that won't work, so let's just keep making it free for all. Tell these damn girls to keep their legs closed. Let them know you can't just run over to the clinic and get rid of it real fast. And if you know Pookie, and you know what? Maybe if she know Pookie's still going to skeet in there and not take care of it. Listen, there's too many options, Dynast. See, this is why I say there's a certain falseness to these claims. You could still go do plan B. Shit work up to 72 hours after you get skeeted in. Well, if there's no abortion possible, she's making that decision sooner rather than later. Right or wrong, Dynast?
Right.
I got to go get that plan B. Yeah, he done skeeted in me. I don't got a 3-month window, 6-month window. Just do it now as opposed to waiting to see if he really liked you and if all the stuff he was saying was true, which is what women do. Women have a wait-and-see approach to pregnancy. They get pregnant, then they wait and see if the dude is going to be the gangbanger of their dreams that they thought he was going to be. That's all this is. That's all this is.
Hey, a black line. Go ahead. Let me yourself.
Oh, hey, everybody. How you doing? And I agree with all you guys are saying, especially with Brandon. Kudos to him. I 100% agree. Like, the main issue personally, and once you just look at the core of it, is really just lack of self-control. That's literally all it is. Because the thing is, when I first started college a couple years ago, my biology teacher had this discussion about it because it involved the human anatomy. And then a lot of people kept on saying, the rape or molestation and yada yada. But I was like, no, I got the information and said, no, the main reason why these abortions are happening is literally proven by statistics speaking, by people with no self-control. It's not done by rape or molestation. It's just literally lack of self-control. And the sad part, I even argued, is like when they keep saying the government and the White House doesn't have no right to tell me how to do with my body. Yes, they do. Because the government is funding these abortion clinics. You're not paying for them. You're not funding them. They are. So they have, and you're going to them for your salvation, for so they can save your ass in the long haul. They have more right to say to your body than you do because they're the one that's doing the procedures and the work. They're being funded by the government. You're not paying a dime. And the sad truth is, when it's just really like responsibility. Like when I was in high school, what started this brouhaha, basically like Brad said about the children fiasco, is when I heard brothers and sisters, especially in our community, talk about the pullout game. And when I asked them, what the hell is that? And that's when they will when they want to do it more raw, but then they think they take it out a certain amount of time, so the semen will never get to the egg. But even I said, that is stupid. Your anatomy still will literally exude some of its own essence into that egg before you even try to pull it out, because that's your biology speaking. It wants to stay in, and I told them that's not going to work. And literally by a couple months later, when people started doing that trend, multiple people I know in my own high school were having children up in the yin yang because of that method. I saw women literally like better in the 9th or 10th grade crying hard because they're having children, about to have kids, and a lot of them were being kicked out the house. A lot of dads, a lot of the men I know that was doing that stupid pullout game, a lot of them had to drop out of school because of what they were doing. And that's when I started noticing that's when the abortion fiasco started happening. And it's like, this is all just really lack of common sense and self-control. And the sad part is, once you look at when they're trying to like use the news and the media for ethical reasons why women should have abortions, it's like your guys are not going to the nitty-gritty of the situation. You guys, and especially when the elders say, like in the 70s, I had an abortion when I was in my 70s because I wasn't ready for a kid. But you're ready to have sex. You're ready to make an adult decision. So how's having a kid any different?
Black line. I gotta push back on you. I looked it up. It's scientifically confirmed that the pullout method works 73% of the time. It's called withdrawal. Dynast, I shared it. No, I shared it right here. You can look at it. It's right here. It's called withdrawal. Pullout works 73% of the time.
You don't call cats who practice the pullout game.
What?
Parents.
Parents. Parents. Daddy.
It hasn't worked for the people I know that have been trying.
They said it works 73% of the time.
Hey, if it's true, cool. But
that means they're extra trifling, because they could have just pulled out and got better odds than just skeeting in it.
But the sad part was, when I was in high school, they literally had sex ed classes on how to have protected sex, how to prevent children, etc. We had this in the high schools and also in the hospitals if you want to go talk to a doctor. We have multiple methods. But the sad part is, when you look at the media and the TV shows, they're literally telling people to have unprotected sex because you don't need to go on like say Pornhub or websites anymore. Just go on Channel 7 or any type of TV show above PG. Your damn near can see intercourse 24/7 hours a day. And the sad part is, it's a agenda that's been pushed for so many times to the point where you guys, like, why are you supposed to feel guilty about what you guys are supposed to do?
Hey, hold on. 1 second, Brandon. Go ahead. Go ahead and we'll pass it to Chrissy. Go ahead, Brandon, and we'll pass it to Chrissy. Go ahead.
Hey, Dynast, women, people always wonder, like, man, women back in the day didn't just get pregnant every time they had sex. There's a thing called natural family planning, just fertility awareness. I'm looking at this thing from Planned Parenthood. That women are able up to 80% of the time determine when they can get pregnant, when they can't get pregnant. I'm telling you, there's just so much recklessness here. It's ridiculous. They foolproof the idea of not having unwanted children. But women can tell, they know when they can get pregnant and when they can't get pregnant. These are not unwanted pregnancies. These are wanted pregnancies, but they using the wait and see method. I'm going to get pregnant by the local superhero gangbanger from my neighborhood, and I'm going to see if he turns out to be the freaking Ray Ray of my dreams. And then if he doesn't, when I find out he's boning every girl in the neighborhood, then I'm going to go 4 months later and go get an abortion. The part where we're being fooled is thinking that these pregnancies are unwanted. These women love getting pregnant by deadbeats. This is what they love to do. They like getting skeeted in by a homeless dude. It's so invigorating. That's their mindset.
Okay. All right, Chris, go ahead, Chrissy. Let me stop, Chrissy.
You know, I'm very happy to see these conversations taking place. I think that's the great thing about social media, and also to hear Black men speaking on it, because every other avenue, you know, when I hear men talk about abortion, you know, they're shut down with such venom, you know, and I see there's nothing wrong with men advocating for themselves, because the only way you can get here is through a woman, right? Another thing I think is great is our conversations about accountability and responsibility. I know those things have been poisonous to our community, but this is the time where we have
Kryptonite.
to start
Kryptonite.
talking kryptonite. I thought it was kryptonite, but I wasn't sure. This is the time we have to start exercising that. There are 30 forms of contraceptive on the market, including Plan B. No one has to get pregnant if they don't want to. Yes, as women, because we are the carriers of life, a little bit more of the burden is on us. We have to be more mindful. But men are also responsible, because everybody knows where babies come from. We have to be more responsible. There are no excuses anymore. There are none. That's it.
Preach.
Go ahead, Philip. Go ahead, Philip. Unmute yourself, Philip.
I trigger Phil.
You didn't trigger me, Brandon. What I will say is you brothers are some of the most distracting brothers I have ever met. I love the show. I'm trying to get ready to get out of town. You're going to get me yelled at from my wife, man. You guys, I'm trying to get out of town, and here we go with something else. But it's good. I love you guys, and I appreciate a few minutes to kind of deal with it. Okay, so off top. This decision isn't about us. We're only at best 16% of the population. It's not about us. What it's about is the Mzungus have looked at the demos and they are not producing children. At the same time,
Mr. Lindsay, if I can interject, I'm so
yes,
sorry.
sir.
I'm not buying. I'm not buying the conspiracy theory on this.
It's not a conspiracy
I'm not
theory.
buying. I'm not buying it. But go ahead.
Okay, well, it's a very simple thing, Dynas. Is they have 70%, depending on what stat you look at, of the population. And we're a representative democracy. If you have 70%, basically it's your game to play every day, all day, right or wrong. That wasn't a rhetorical question. If you have 70% and the rest of the country is 30% of other various groups, can you run the country?
Yes.
If it's a representative democracy, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Okay. So what happens if now you slip to 65? Can you run the country?
Yes.
But can you run it like you could run it when you had 70?
No. Majority rule.
Okay. So here's the deal. And Brennan, I can't remember which one of you guys' shows we talked about this, about Social Security and the whole thing about undocumented immigrants and why they aren't going to stop that because we don't have enough workers to support our social safety net, period. When they implemented Social Security, it was like 5 or 6 workers to every one retiree. Now it's like 2 to 1. So their solution is they have to have children come from other parts of the world where they have a higher birth rate. That's the deal. Otherwise, we can't afford Social Security. Now, we could change it if we wanted to raise the cap from $110,000 or $118,000 a year and just say, okay, well, depending on what your income is, then you contribute more to Social Security. But as it is right now, it's capped at like $110,000, $118,000 a year, and then you don't pay any more Social Security tax. So here on this one, it's this, that look, if Black people who are towards the bottom of society, depending on what stats you look at, but we're towards the bottom. If Black people have more children, will we be more able to afford them or less able to afford them if we change nothing else?
More able to afford them.
How?
I believe that when you increase your numbers, your community naturally increases, and therefore your money circulates through it better. Like I just think that
That's true.
we have more insulation versus shit. It's like you have more insulation and more basically protection from outside influence, and I think that will work. I don't really see people even in our society. If you go from to the worst hoods, you don't really see the women who are in the most impoverished conditions. You don't see their kids like automatically like, oh, that kid's like a drug dealer, a prostitute, whatever. There's all kinds of social safety nets protecting them from that bottom.
Well,
that we pay for.
I think you got to the core of it where I wanted to go with that, which is this. Look, if we look at the numbers, and Brandon and Dennis, I sent you the thing, Black people were more likely to be married in the 1970s than white people. Right? You guys saw those charts, right?
Yes. Yeah, I did.
Black men and Black women were more likely in the 1970s to be married. It didn't change until the 80s. So because were we economically booming in the 1970s? Were we killing the game then? Yes or no?
Well, as far as the economic part, I mean, per Claude Anderson, we haven't moved an inch since we were off the plantation.
Well, yeah, I mean, Claude Anderson is looking at the long trajectory. But look,
I think, okay.
I just want to throw it out so that we're thinking about this clearly, which is this. I've thrown this number before. In 1968, 2 factory workers, if they were Black, were within $5,000 in household income of 2 factory workers if they were white. So that was kind of the apex. That generation of Black workers, usually our grandparents, possibly your great-grandparents, were the ones that bought homes, that maybe were able to send their kids to college. That's who we're talking about. And then it flipped. Why did it flip? The answer is because once the factories went away, because 70% of Black work is unskilled, we did not have a fallback position or economy to turn to. And this is what I'm saying here. Go ahead, Brandon. Do your thing.
Let me just push back on you this. What we have to understand is there's strength in numbers. When you look at any demographic on the planet, it is not the entire society that drags itself into a better position. It is a small group among that society that drags their whole entire society up to a better position. But in order to do that, you have to have the numbers. Look at China. There's a reason why they could put 100 people in a factory working for 10 cents an hour, because they got all these people. Like, dude, we could do 50 factories to where if you even pass $1 a day, we still got $1 billion at the end of the day. That's what strengthens your community, the numbers. Because in every community, even in the Black community, there are more people who are resigned to doing right than doing wrong. That's just the way it is. There's millions of Black people in jail, but there's millions of more Black people not in jail, working, going to college, all this stuff. So when you talk about not increasing our population, well, guess what? We're worried about increasing the bad, but we got to think about the fact that we're not increasing the good by entertaining these ideas of, oh, I can't get childcare, I can't do this. Listen, no, there's nobody, Dynast, nobody, right? Even Forbes 500 company CEO, they have the same apprehension when it comes to having kids as a person who ain't even got a job. No one's really prepared for parenthood. They adapt and evolve. And that's what most people did. That's what our parents did. That's what my sisters did. You know, their kids are in school. They're going to graduate from school. We got all these kids that are coming out of this degenerate generation who are now breaking all these records for college enrollment and all that stuff, coming straight out of crack, coming straight out of like the drug war, right? There's a correlation, but it ain't the causation. For as bad as we were, we are in record numbers gaining representation in the best spaces. There are 1 million black millionaires in America, straight out of crack, straight out of the drug war. We do better overall. We do better overall at greater numbers than we do degeneracy. So I say just let the good times roll and bring them all in.
Well,
I want to ask that.
Well, hold on. We gotta. I know. Go Black to Africa is overseas.
Yeah, do your thing.
Go back to Africa. Go ahead. Go back to Africa. Go Black. All right. Go ahead. Black Lion.
Oh no, I just want to add to Brandon's point. Like he has a very strong case because, like, once you let's just say, like Brandon has 7 children. He want to raise them in a decent neighborhood. If he raised them with a decent mindset, regardless of if he has like a slightly decent economic status, if he raised them in a decent environment with a good decent mindset, and he pretty much in a positive, more positive way, he damn near can raise like 7 children. He can raise them to be like a doctor, engineer, or architect, or a plumber. He's damn near creating great children that can help build a civilization. So that's a good seller. So I agree with he's saying, like, yes, have a lot of children and raise them the best way you could so you can help the community itself. Because the more people in more positive, more respectful positions, especially with a decent mindset, we can build a civilization also, in my opinion, a lot more faster, a lot more efficiently if we have the amount of children and we raise them right. So it can be a lot more effective. If we raise them in a better situation, we can literally help the black community. Like let's say less than 50 years from now, if we just put in the work. So my thing is not just like having a lot of kids, but also raising them so to be decent people and in better positions where we can help the community as a whole. So that can definitely help us.
And we have a false notion that it's only Pookies and Ray Rays getting the abortions. The example I gave about my cousin was pregnant by a man who was making $65 an hour working over for BSNF Railroad, and she had 2 abortions. These are people who are like, I'm trying to focus on my career. They're high earners in our community are getting a ton of abortions. High earners. And that's a part of the demographic that we don't pay attention to. People who it would just take a minimum sacrifice and a small adjustment in their life are getting abortions. Married folks is getting abortions in the black community because he works and he's trying to become CEO, and she works and she's trying to launch her startup. We have to pay attention to that because abortion has been marketed to our middle class. It's been marketed to our middle class. Planned Parenthood ain't here for Bonquisha. She gets to reap the benefits, but Planned Parenthood is here so a dignified black woman can walk into a space and not be judged for saying, look, I'm working a lot, I'm up for a promotion, and I was out there doing it. Most people working don't have time to go get pregnancy tests and stuff. They so busy working, they just feel like, oh, maybe I'm a little sick, maybe something going, but they grind through. And then when they realize they're pregnant, oh shit, I can't have a baby right now. Just watch BET, watch Being Mary Jane and all those little rack shows. You'll see.
Okay, well, go ahead, Philip. Then we'll pass it to Fitzgerald. Then we got the average.
Let me try to wrap. I agree. Well, let me start with the positive. I always want to. The positive is if you and Dynast and all the different people, O'Shea, Go Black, if people buy onto your message, then it can work out great. What Brandon's saying, it could definitely what Fitzgerald and Dynast are talking about with the money and so on. It could. So let me say that off top. The question is, how likely is that to happen? And I think that's an open question. I think it does come down to resources. Each one of these children in a regular America is about $125,000 of investment to get them, basically from childhood to adulthood. And if you're talking about any kind of health issues with these kids, it's going to be more than that. If you're talking about some sort of fancy college education, it's going to be more than that. Now, from my standpoint, the issue should be about how do we increase our resources. And the reason why I say that is, when I've shared this with Dynast and with Brandon, I have family in Scandinavia. I have family in Denmark. And in Denmark, when you're a single parent, what they do is they invest a ton of money into that family to make sure that that child goes to college. And the reason why they do it is so that that person becomes a taxpayer because they have high taxes there. So the issue with them is we want to make sure it's only one generation that has this single parenting situation if we can do it. And so they pour in the resources from the state. We in the United States tend to take the opposite. We tend to be punitive. We tend to say, look, you made a mistake here, so this is no longer available to you. We give you certain programs, but we're not pouring in the kind of money that, say, a Denmark or Sweden will pour in. And what tends to happen is some sort of kind of in between, like what Brandon is saying.
Real quick, I got to push back real quick. I
Yeah,
know
push back.
like New York, even here in Georgia, in California, they have all types of programs for single mothers, gifted programs, discount on tuition, get bus to, busing program. They have all types of stuff, all types of programs.
I would agree with that. But this was the core of what I wanted to say about it, which is the pregnancies and termination of them are not the core of the problem. The core of the problem is what led the people that had the children, whether they planned for them or not, to have them that way. And that's usually determined by resources. And maybe it's mental health care. Maybe it's, the family structure is weak. They didn't have two parents. I don't know.
Phil, it ain't resources. Phil, it's wait and see. Pookie is sleeping with other women in the neighborhood. Once she realized he was lying to her, now she want to get an abortion. It ain't about affording. She knows she going down to the county building and get the resources. She might even get emergency Section 8. For women, having a kid here is a net gain. The only reason they decide not to have a baby if it's not by the gangbanger of choice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Assuming everything that you're saying.
Hold on, Black Lion. Well, go ahead, Phil. But I want to, Fitzgerald's the guest, so I want to make sure he. But go ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry, Fitzgerald. Let me just wrap, and then I'm going to duck. You're muted.
Muted, Fitzgerald.
I'm enjoying the conversation very well from all the guests. I'm here as a student speaker also, but I keep hearing about the resources. I keep hearing about this when Black families for centuries have been raising their children and keeping their kids and not killing their kids for this time millennium. I don't buy the resources thing. I do buy family planning. Okay. I do buy personal responsibility. It doesn't click with me. It doesn't. But we're forgetting the most important individual of this conversation, the baby. The babies.
Well, I agree with that, Fitzgerald.
I give a two shit about what this woman thinks or what this man thinks. Someone has to be accountable for this life that you brought in this earth. Somebody has to be accountable for that. Because meanwhile, while we're sitting up here having debates, Republicans, Democrats, Independents, whatever you think like that, our children are dying. I'm well aware of the white population decline. I'm well aware of that. But you know what? If it's getting Black people's population, I'll roll right with it. Because I don't want this Holocaust, and that's exactly what it is. That's dang near on the rival of the slave trade coming from the Middle Passage to keep continuing. I am for life. I am for life.
I'm for that too. I'm for that too.
That's what I want to see. And wow, man. But I thank you guys for your opinions. I have learned something here. But I still will not move off my square. Something has to be done about this. The states, the Republican states, they're gonna unite against like that. They're gonna make it where things are gonna be outlawed, the abortions. Where I reside with in Florida with Governor Sanders, you definitely believe these cats coming at it. Probably Georgia. All depends on whether Stacey Abrams will win the gubernatorial race. Newsom out there in California, he's definitely going to be for it. As far as abortion. New York, they definitely going to be for it. And so it comes like in a while, it comes like in a while. Okay, we can't forget about the children. Dynast, I'm going to yield my time to Miss Somner right here. I just want to hear what she has to say.
Okay. Yeah, Miss Somner. Go ahead, Miss Somner.
Good afternoon, everybody. Hey, Diane, thanks for allowing me on. Is there any feedback on my end?
It's real crackly, like it's crackling, like your sound is.
Okay, let me move areas. Can
Yeah.
you hear me okay now?
Well, it's still cracking. Maybe come in and go out and come back in, or get a
No, she got to
headset.
get off the earpiece. She got to get off the headset.
You have a headset on?
No, I'm on a speakerphone.
Oh yeah, I take.
No. Turn off your speakerphone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Talk directly to the phone.
Okay. Okay. Is that better?
Nah, it's still crackling.
Okay, I'm gonna come out and come back in.
Okay.
But real quick though, I really agree with Mr. Fitzgerald what he's saying. It's kind of like what I said earlier. It's just really his lack of self-control, because once you go out and look at it, especially with these I'll say these protests, it's mostly, you don't see traditional women complain about these abortion issues. It's mostly these modern women once you look at it. Because once you look at the main, and when we see the main ethnic group over there are mostly white women. These are most more modern white women. Because the thing is, like, back in our parents, like a lot, my generation, my parents, a lot of them can't comprehend. It's like, why just don't have? Because a lot of my parents' age range will say, why don't you guys don't have sex? Why just wear basic protection? Why, like, or Brandon said, why don't you just plan for the kid? What's all this extra nonsense to a point where you got how this how this became a political issue?
The thing, and this is just real fast. The thing we're not.
Brand, I'm gonna pass it to Go Black, because I know Go Black's at overseas.
This is what we all need to understand. I've done research on this in the hood. For the impoverished among us, they're not even considering resources. Resources don't even factor into the equation. They are totally protected from the normal responsibilities and realities of life, right? That's through the social entitlement systems. The people who would even think about the resources, Dynas, the people would even think about, can I afford this baby? They can afford the baby. The reason they can afford the baby is because they are the type of people who actually consider their resources and their ability to afford something. 9 times out of 10, a person who thinks, man, I can't afford this baby, or I can't, they can. But they use some other factor contributes to their abortion. Oh, I'm getting a promotion, something like that.
No, go back to Africa. Go ahead.
What's up, y'all? How y'all doing? Can you hear me, man?
Yeah, we hear you. Go ahead.
Can you share my screen real quick? I want to show a quick clip.
Yeah, I'm saying I don't see anything yet. You gotta. Oh, here we go. Here it's coming. You got it. Well, you got it shared on the live stream right now. You don't have it shared on anything else.
I got to share it on live screen.
I'm saying you're sharing the actual stream. You're not sharing whatever, unless you just want to share.
Right. I guess let me take. Do you see my screen? Scroll over.
I see.
Do you see something different?
It's back.
Maybe you hit the wrong tab.
Now that you see it's different.
Yeah. Hold on. I'm about to share it now. Oh, go ahead.
All right.
It's life for mankind. They're the best things ever. 60 to 18 years old. Those are the best things. Young age. As you get older, your age gets pretty good. We can thinking. So you may not be our
no, that's fine. I'm done with my business anyway.
Cloning yourself with the idea of.
So let me come back over real quick. Can y'all hear me? Let me stop sharing.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Did y'all see that video? This whole game here, y'all. Let me do this right. This whole game here ain't about just abortions. These are these evil people who wants that placenta. They want that umbilical cord. They want it for stem cell. If you even go on, there's another video. Look, I was going to run that video with the white dude there. He's got another one talking extensively about the stem cell research and what he is doing for himself when it comes to these black women and wanting to get those eggs or by abortions that y'all heard he say that has more of an impact of usage for stem cell research to make them what they think could be stronger, can be younger, and all that. And every Black woman need to understand that it is an attack. It's an attack against you, your children, where they want to go ahead and utilize our strong DNA for their own benefit. This is what the abortion is all about. These white devils out here who are doing some evil things to our people. That's why every time, where are all the abortion clinics at? They're in the hoods. You don't find that one abortion clinic that is in any suburban neighborhood. I've never seen one before. It's because of the fact for centuries, they've known our DNA have been very different and have a power behind to where they know they can only live for so long unless they get our DNA. And so I wanted to share that, Dynas, because, you know, we can talk about this all day long about abortion, should it be right or wrong, when behind the scenes, there are those who are snatching our children up, killing them, the young girls getting their bodies. And I'm gonna do another video of the missing body parts. These family members are finding that the body organs are being removed without their consent for those who had to resume the body for whatever reason to find out these things. This is a right out attack against our people.
But how is it the place where I would push back is, how is it an attack when we willingly go give it to them? How can you go in and give it to them?
Well, I mean, that's true. That is true. But here's the thing: when you try to misguide and educate people or young women about Planned Parenthood, when they're under the table, their agendas are really to get that placenta, where they will sit there and try to console our young Black women to make them feel as though that it's okay what you're doing. You know, some get offered money or benefits or what have you. This is like a grown man talking to a young girl and trying to get those panties off that she's too young to even make those decisions. This is an outright attack when you have young ladies like that.
I agree with you 100%, Go Black. I agree with you 100%. But the only part I push back on is these women know how to use contraceptive. These men know how to use a contraceptive. They have sex education classes, billions of dollars teach you how to not get pregnant. So when you say it's an attack, I agree that this is their motive, but I don't really think it's an attack, because from the time Dynas, what you in the 7th grade, they teach you how not to get pregnant. Then they say later on, well, if you do get pregnant, if you're gonna go out there and act the fool, well, you might as well let us get the eggs. You might as well let us get the remnants of the placenta. I don't think it's an attack. I think they're just doing what's in their own best interest, and they're taking advantage of a market that is readily available. It's like saying,
let me say this right here. We can remove the word attack if you don't like the word attack.
I want to put some accountability on us.
Right. Well, there is exactly. You're right. There's accountability. I just know we got ignorant folks in the community, and we don't understand that when you get a woman, a young girl or a young lady who's vulnerable at a time of desperation, of confusion, that you would want to have a place set in your neighborhood for that they can go through a seminar or go through a briefing of her options and what would be best for her. I don't know. I've never been inside of one of a clinic of what is actually being told to the young ladies, but it's mighty funny that we have them in every hood. And my thing is that we lose millions of babies. And yes, we got to take accountability. You're going to have sex, have the baby if you get pregnant, you know, but there again, if, you know, there's contraceptives, all these other things that you can do, but just be educated to know that on the other side, because I'm with you, Brandy. Sometimes we try to give, you know, the white man, you know, all the heat when we're the ones who's really effing up at times. So be aware that they want you to come get an abortion because they want that fetus. That's what they want.
It benefit. Hey, and it benefit them.
Let's get Darius. Go ahead, dear. Let's try your mic again, Darius. Go ahead.
Okay, I hope it's working this
Oh,
time.
hell no,
Am I
it's still
clear?
messed
Nah,
up.
it ain't working.
Oh,
You got another device you calling on? You got something that's not an
Just
Obama
send us a
phone?
smoke signal.
You got something that's not. You got a regular Droid, not an Obama phone, De'Ara?
no, I'm on an iPhone 13. I'm sorry.
Man, that is an iPhone -13 D.
It needs an update.
I would
Man,
go
it's looking rude,
outside, but I'm
man.
nursing my baby.
Okay,
I
go
just,
listen. We gonna work through it, De'Ara. Go ahead. We're gonna
okay.
work through it.
Well, what I wanted to say is I totally agree with what Philip was saying about the resources being a major factor. I used to work for Planned Parenthood, and it was one of the worst places I've ever worked in my life. A lot of the women, the demographic of the women that come into Planned Parenthood for counsel for an abortion, and I use that word counsel real lightly. When they come into the clinic, it's not an actual counsel. It's more of sitting a woman or a young woman in a room by herself, putting a pamphlet on the table and walking out. That's it. But the demographic of most of the ladies that are getting the abortion, they're young. They're young. Most of them still live with their mother. They don't have a primary care provider. I heard someone mention about family planning and tracking their ovulation. They don't know how to do that. They don't even know when their period comes on. So a lot of these women are like under 25. They're living with their mother. Their mother is on Section 8 or living in subsidized housing. They may not even know who the daddy is. And so they're coming to Planned Parenthood for an abortion because they don't have the resources to take care of this child. Now, I'm not saying it's right, because I am pro-choice only because I feel that we have the right to make our own decision about our own body. And then there would be people that would say, well, the Bible says this and the Bible says that. If you think about it, even in the Bible, it talks about a man spilling his seed on the ground. So if we want to get technical about it, a man ain't even supposed to pull out. So
because the Bible says so.
Well, that's what the Bible says. I'm just for the Bible thumpers. I just want to bring that.
A man ain't supposed to have sex with his brother or wife either.
Right. So that's why I'm just
Bible. If we gonna talk about the Bible, don't start talking about the Bible, because we got to be in context now.
That's true. That's true. But I'm just bringing to the light, because some people will say, oh, that's murder. That's murder. But it's also a sin for a man to spill his seed on the ground. But I'm not even going there with the whole Bible situation.
I told you, Dynast, they want to get skeeted in.
But I do believe resources is a big factor in why so many young women. I rarely saw a woman over 25 coming in for an abortion. Rarely. And another reason why I believe it's a resource thing is because of Medicaid. Medicaid was funding all of these abortions. They want to keep the money. They're tired of all these abortions. Like you said, Brandon, you have a cousin that had 18 abortions. I'm assuming maybe she's on a Medicaid type of program. Think about how many $600 checks Medicaid cut to Planned Parenthood for her. And think about all of the women in the United States in her same predicament who've had an abortion on Medicaid's dime. So it's a resource thing. And then if the young woman is living with her mother's on Section 8, she's pregnant. Now this girl don't got nowhere to go.
That's not true. The baby automatically get put on the case. I've been around Section 8
yeah,
she gets
put on the case, but what if mama don't got no room for that baby?
Oh, I think it's pile up in the house. They move their boyfriend in, no problem. Let the baby have a place to sleep. I want to push back on you for this one reason. This is why I love you and I love what you're saying. And congratulations on that baby you feeding. Good job. But I have to just push back and call a little bit of BS. Okay. Because when she's pregnant by the right Pookie, right? Her daddy could talk to her. Her mama could talk to her. Jesus himself could descend from the heavens and touch on her forehead and say, don't have baby by old Ray Nathan over there. She's still going to go right on ahead and have that baby. You can't convince a woman to do anything that she doesn't want to do. I don't care if she's 16 years old. Dynast, how many times you see your little cousin or whatever, she messed with the wrong crowd. Hey, don't do that. Don't mess with him. Next thing you know, she pregnant. Damn. You say, you know what, maybe you should go down to the clinic. You know, this dude ain't, he selling shit. This dude can't even buy weed. He might not be able to take care of that baby. She will put her head down like a strong young bull and march through those 9 months undeterred and have that baby. And I love what women do. All of a sudden, we're so gullible. We're so, they persuaded me and they told me this, and I really didn't, I was confused. It's
But we
always
talking
like that
about
after the baby
immature.
gets.
We talking about immature young women.
Even the most immature sit up and have a baby when everybody in their family telling them not to.
Sometimes, but I've heard women
Most times
tell their daughter, "You ain't having that baby." I've heard women myself say that to their young daughter, "You're not having that
And what's
baby."
their favorite word? It's my body and it's my decision. Everybody
Now
knows
you know
that line.
Bonquisha ain't about to buck
Yes,
up against
they
her mama
do.
like that.
Dynast.
You know she not. You know she not.
Yo,
confirmed.
I gotta give you pushback, Brandon. You know Bonquisha ain't. Mama run the house. Mama run the house.
She'll go move with her boyfriend. No, her mama most times ain't telling her that.
Her boyfriend living in a trap house. He don't got nowhere for her to go.
They okay with that. They
She'll
okay
still
with
live in
that.
a trap house and sleep on the mattress on the floor.
Man,
Sleep on the
mama
mattress
go
on the
walk
floor.
him. Listen,
And
mama
you know
go walk
what?
him
The
down to the
boyfriend
county
probably
office for the
fronted
food
her
stamps.
half of the money, so she don't have an excuse.
Hey, them abortions be subsidized, and the boyfriend give her the money, and let me tell you what they do. They'll take the money and they'll say, girl, I went shopping with that money. You know what they do. I know what they do. They take the money from the boyfriend, go shopping with the money, walk around 6 months later with a lump. He like, but I gave you the money. It's my body. It's my choice. This is, guys, you're going to have to make up your mind what y'all want us to believe. Because y'all be trying to move the goalposts now.
I just want the government to put regulation around abortion. That's it.
More government, more problems. The government can't fix your problems. They never have been able to. They just make the problem worse. Let me ask you one question. Yeah. Have you ever heard of a time where a woman got the money for abortion from her boyfriend? She went out and spent the money and still had the baby.
Yes, I have heard.
We all have. All 44 million of us have. That means there are at least 44 million reasons why you're wrong.
But let me also say this. I used to foster. I just stopped maybe 4 or 5 months ago. With the Roe versus Wade being
You mean you sent the kids back to the welfare house?
Yeah, I had a baby.
That's a damn
it's a lot of responsibility. It's a lot of responsibility.
She threw him back like bad catfish, Dynast.
But look, my baby at home with me, so that's what matters most to me right now. But the thing is, with the Roe versus Wade being overturned, there are going to be so many more babies in the system without a place to go. Because there's not enough foster parents.
No.
Grandma ain't about to raise no more babies.
There will be so many more people like you who can get a check temporarily for them and then throw their ass back when they don't want them no more.
But do you know how hard it is to
I see what you see as a problem. What you see as a problem, I see an opportunity. Y'all go out there and get y'all one of them foster kids. They paying good for them kids. What you need to do is do a workshop teaching these people in this comments how to go get them foster kids and get that good yokum check. That's what you need to do. That would be a benefit. You can get paid to take care of people's unwanted children. Most black people probably even know that. You remember back in the day, Dynast, people calling people on their own family members trying to get that yokum check. Mm-hmm. And if you don't like the kids, you can talk to Darius and she'll teach you how to throw their ass back. You just throw them back.
No.
You look, you got to go back to the shelter shit. You out of control.
It's a real sad situation. Real talk. There are not enough foster homes or not enough group homes to house. There are children that are sleeping in agencies right now because there's not enough homes for these children. So when you think of the meth epidemic and the opioid epidemic, and now women can't get an abortion anymore, these people are overwhelmed with children and newborns coming straight out the hospital.
I thought we were the moral compass of America. That's what Tariq Nasheed said. Why is there so many of our kids? Listen, you can't pay black folks to take these kids. All these hotep empaths and nurturing queen mothers and all that shit. This is what I'm telling you. Black folks just got to shut the hell up sometimes. Because everything we say just shows us how hypocritical we are. We got so much love, and and they hate us because we soul brothers and we love each other. Man, just go get you 3, 4 of them little illegitimate babies. You get you about $2,000 to $4,000 a month, and you'll never have to work another day in your life. Right or wrong, Darius?
That's wrong. You got to have your own income to be a foster parent. They
You
just
get a
not
job
gonna
at
give it
Subway.
anybody.
You get a job at Subway. Show up once a week.
Shame on you.
Look, everybody shouldn't be a foster parent. I'm a witness to that. It's hard work. It's
You
not
wanted
easy.
everybody. You just threw your damn kids back. Fuck it, they gone. Bye.
No, I had a baby of my own. And I have a 17-year-old.
See me, I'm too loving. I couldn't look at the kid and send them back to the molestation place. I just be like, look, we just all gonna have to handle it. You know what I'm saying? Y'all, women are evil. That's what you guys don't understand. What? They're evil.
No.
Dynas, let me ask you a question. You got 2 foster kids. You probably watched grow up from the age of 3 or 5 years old. They 12 now. You get pregnant. You know what, little Jimmy, you just gotta go back to the home. Could you do that, Dynas?
No, I'm gonna tell you what the problem is. But Brandon, you could. But you know what's going on now? Hold on, Brandon. So when the foster parents want to give the children back to the state, they're now putting those foster parents on child support.
Right.
I don't let that happen to them.
They're putting them on child support?
Yes.
Right.
I know a lady that adopted a child, was having issues with the child. She
wanted
to
take throw it back.
The state put her on child support.
I'm telling you, that is why men should be in charge of what women do with their bodies, especially when it comes to child rearing. Women are heartless. Women are heartless. They will get a kid, raise him up from infancy, and then throw his ass back to the government like he like a old pair of shoes. This is
but where the dads at, Brandon? Yo, we gonna get on the young fellas too.
They got the daddy
young fellas ain't at home, man.
No, they got the daddy too. Go back. They got the daddy thrown in jail. Talking about they went through a cell phone, saw him talk to another girl, called the police. He hit me, and now he's doing 2 to 5 upstate. That's what happened.
There's a lot of brothers out here who ain't taking care of their kids. You know, that need to be there at home taking care of their kids.
Thank God you don't have them on. Thank God you don't have any of them on this panel.
Huh?
Okay. Hey, hold on. We got go ahead, Tammy.
Hey, thanks again for having me back, Dynas. And I appreciate being amongst, a group of intellect thinkers. I'll say this much, and I'm just going to quickly chime in. Brandon, in regards to what you experienced, I'm sorry, that trauma that you had, from your mother and that toxic,
trauma. I was excited.
Oh, well, maybe
violent shit
maybe
like
it was
that.
like WWF. All right.
I used to watch Stallone. Our First Blood. I was like, this shit is tight.
But the issue is that's the narrative that you share with everyone else, your experience, even though it was exciting to you. I had a loving mother in the home, so
that's
my experience is different.
Stuff
but
like
I'll say,
Tammy, you've seen crazy shit like that, right or wrong, right or wrong. That's all I'm saying. Don't try to act like we ain't crazy collectively. We crazy.
Well, I say that a sector of us do need to get it together, but I'll say this much. I did raise my son. He's 24 years old, and I raised him by myself. I married my junior high sweetheart, and I've only been in one relationship. I've been single. I divorced in 2002. I've been single ever since because I focused on my university degrees and raising my son and doing business. And there's other things, but that's just the back end about me personally. But at the end of the day, this is what I feel is critically needed. And I think, speaking for Dynas and yourself as well, any of you gentlemen that are in the African continent, I think we do need Moses to come and get his people and take his people to where they have their own system, where when it comes to an issue like Roe versus Wade, we're not in this system. We're in our own system. So when you start, Brandon, you having control over whether I give birth to this child or not, then we're in our system where you know that this child and this woman is going to be taken care of.
That's the way our system works.
And then we need the older generation, because young men are like young elephants. They're gonna run wild, they're gonna do damage, and they're not gonna have any leadership. We need our older generation or more mature males in our population to help teach and show and guide the younger generation. But we need to do that in our own society.
Can I ask you a question? Let me ask you a real quick question. If what I experience is the exception and what you experience is the rule, How did we get to where we are right now? Because people love to make it like, well, Brandon, you experienced that, but my shit was good. Well, if that's the case, we should be fine. The majority of our people are degenerates, and the people who say we're not are just lying.
Well,
they're just lying. These same people argue with their mama throw them out the house and do all types of crazy shit. So I had a loving mother. Yeah, that's what we were all trained to say. Our mamas was crazy as hell and abusive.
I empathize with you, Brandon. I empathize with you. We do have that sector in our culture, in our society. But again, we need some Moseses to step up and get our people in our own society. And I want to shout out to this young lady, this queen as well, sweet Darius, I believe her name was, in regards to, you know, being a foster mother and picking up, you know, and helping out, especially if it's you know, she's, you know, looking after Black children. Somebody needs to help raise them. If not, then we get raised with parents and being raised or giving birth. You're giving birth to kids, in other words. You know, they're not ready.
Scary thing that I've seen online today since this whole thing came into the news, there are women posting homemade remedies on how to induce a miscarriage, seeing if they can't readily get an abortion. They've been posting different herbs and medications.
That's what y'all do.
And I'm like, if you have a miscarriage at home without medical intervention, you can get an infection, you can hemorrhage to death. People are being reckless behind this decision.
Darius, before that, it was yoni steaming. Y'all doing yoni steaming? What's the difference?
I'm not, but many women are. But that's something totally separate.
Yoni steaming is healthy.
Yoni steaming gonna give you a yeast infection. Stop playing.
Organic yoni, if you're doing it right, it's very healty for the female anatomy. It keeps the female anatomy healthy.
What's the ingredients to the steam?
But it has to be organic. Check out my channel. I'll show you.
Fried chicken skins in a pot. Just stand over it.
But what she said is very valid, and it does put a lot of females at risk because back in the day.
Hold on, Tammy, are you yoni steaming like for real on your channel? Like, are you really doing it like?
Well, I do something similar. I do a lot of fruits and veggies, like some.
Are you doing it? Are you yoni steaming live on your channel?
Hey! If I get enough women that like to see that step by step, we can get that done. Organic, you know, herbs, you know, Dr. Sebi herbs. We can spring water, alkaline water. We can keep the girls healthy. Now, I need men. I need you men to do some steaming, okay? I need you men to step up and come rescue us women. We need our men in our village to come and step it up.
We
and
can't
provide
save
us
you from yourself.
In this society, you probably can't. But I'm saying if you're building your a strong, healthy society where our men are leading, then they can lead. I'll follow. If you're gonna be the head and you're a strong head, I'm gonna follow. And I'm gonna give you all the babies your heart desires.
Y'all just need to
go
get married.
Black to
listen.
Africa.
Hey, listen. Just get married and don't try to think for yourself. That's the only advice I can give you. Let your husband tell you what to do.
We too late for that in America. Us women, y'all done gave us. We done got the green light. Even, you know, Susan B. Anthony said, Black folks and white women want to learn them numbers too. And once we learn them numbers, then we know how this system and how this economics work, how this game work.
Dynast, I lucked out, Dynast. I will say it before anybody. I lucked out when I found my wife. Lord, the bullets I dodged, I'd probably be in prison or something. I lucked out. This is crazy.
Well, God was looking after you because he knew what you went through as an adolescent. And he was like, I'm going to make sure this young man don't have to endure that for the rest of his life.
Just me. Not all the other millions of Black people went through it. Just Brandon, he's the chosen one. If I'm the chosen one, listen to me. Stop standing over that yoni pot.
Tell your wife to move over. You're going to have 2 wives.
But you know, at the end of the day, it all boils down.
Too late, I already got 3.
We need Black men to get back to being the head of their families,
raising
these young men and women to make better decisions so that we don't have to worry about Pookie, Bonquisha, Ray, none of them running down to Planned Parenthood, laying up in our homes while we at work, making babies. We need families to come back together. We need Black men to stay with Black women, raise their Black children to do what's right. At the end of the day, it all boils down to that.
Hey,
I second that motion.
I agree with you, and this is what I know, and this is what I'm gonna tell all y'all. For the Black men, at the end of the day, it always come full circle back to being your fault. That's why I tell you, don't even waste your time talking to them, because you know where the conversation gonna go in the end, back to it being your fault. So just say, look, it's my fault, now do this. It's my fault, now go do that. I'm telling you, that's literally what women want you to do. Just tell them what to do, and they'll do it most times. And if they don't, kick them to the curb. Like the Bible says, since we quote about, like Jesus told the disciples, kick the dust off your feet. Walk away from them.
Let me say this right here. I'll say this right here. I would agree with the sisters there when it comes to men stepping up to the plate to do their duty. I think that we're in a day and time that a woman, how much would she be receptive and receiving him to be the man of the house, to be the leader, the one to overshadow and be the watcher. You know, I think the society in America has done away with that. When women's liberation came in and women felt very empowered to go out into the workplace, you know, a lot of them felt as though that they didn't need a man. And then those who were married, you know, when you had men who were out there and working, and the woman wanted to get out there, it also caused a dysfunction. I'm not just saying the women were the cause of breakups of the family. What I'm saying is that who today, how many women would be willing to really allow a man to be a man and be the head of the household? Like Brandon said, I'm fortunate. My wife lets me, I mean, and people don't like the word lets me. No, but without any resistance, I'm the man. I call the shots. I told her, you just sit back and just kick your feet up and just relax and let me run this. That's why I'm here in Africa. People can't believe it. Your wife, though, you know, women come at me like that. You're not there with your responsibility with your wife. She's back in America. Look, I'm over here in Africa. I'm buying up real estate. I'm getting some businesses started. I am the forerunner of the family. But when some women can't handle that, some women don't have that trust in the man. Some women want to be, as you want to say, equal with a man. A woman's not equal to a man, and a man's not equal with a woman. We are two different species that need to respect one another. And until we can respect one another, we'll have dysfunctional families. We won't have no families at all. You'll be having more single family mothers or single fathers, or you have children out there who's in the system. And why is it that? It's because of the fact that, like our sister said, men need to come back and step up and take care of the family. A woman, she takes care of family in a different way than a man takes care of the family. That is, get his ass out into this system to fight and do whatever he's got to do to provide, protect for the family. Today, sisters don't want to hear that, though. Some sisters have a hard time relinquishing their power over to the man who rightfully want to do what's theirs. Then they argue when they come home who's gonna do house chores. You need to take care of the kid. You need to watch this. I did. Somebody got to take care of the household. My mom, she was at home. She took care of the household, which is a job. My dad worked 3 jobs out there, made sure we had food in our stomach, we had good clothes on our back, we ate good, we had good car and nice house, and he did everything possible to make sure he provided for the family. My mother did not object to that at all. She knew her duty as the wife, as the mother, and, you know, it was what it was. But, you know, that's what I got.
Very well said, Go Black. And that's exactly what we need. We need that structure because, like he stated, the male has his role in the household and in the society, and the woman and the female has her role. And we have to work, you know, in unison. You know, it has to be evenly yoked. We have to, you know, get that structure back. If not, you're right. We're going to continue in this society continue to be losers, or I mean, take losses, not losers, but take a loss. We're going to continue to be in the situation we're in, and it's always going to be convoluted for us. And our children are going to continue to inherit, this issue.
Go ahead, Fitzgerald, brother Fitzgerald. Go ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen, you can't save the person they want to be saved. Black man, think as an individual.
I was gonna say your sound is kind of, I don't know what it is. Your sound is
echoing.
Yeah, like it's from a distance, like it's
okay. Black men, black women, you can't save people who don't want to be saved. Forget this holistic thinking. Think on terms of individual. First, starting with you. Make sure your choice is right. People I've been married before. It didn't work out. We were not on one accord. I don't believe in asking a woman to let me be a man and everything like that. That's asinine to me. I'm already one, whether you stamp off it on or not. You can't get with that. As far as me providing, protecting, you being honorable, you being loyal, feminine, to stay submissive. I mean, we don't have anything to talk about. So therefore, I won't deal with you. We would love to see black people rise, but I have come to the doggone conclusion it's very, very difficult to admit that there are simply too many of us who don't. For you want to use the programming that's been done by colonialism, by slaverism, and all that. All right, then there's somewhere a man has to show himself a man, and a man has to be an individual, powerful, action-oriented individual. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do a video on my channel right after this show called "The Language of a Man," and I'm going to talk about the certain characteristics where they have. I am pro-black. I love black women. I love the idea of the essence that I am that. My late mother was that. I love black women. Okay, so it's vital for me to move in that bed. But you can't save everyone. To the wonderful ladies on the panel and to the distinguished gentlemen on the panel right here, you have to maintain your own lot. Maybe Brandon as a business owner, because say what you want with him, say what you want to say about Go Back to Africa. These are business owners. That's one of the first things you got to get right. You got to control your own economic destiny. I see no way to do it on someone else's job, with very, very little exception. You have to be able to leave something to your family. You have to be able to teach them financial mechanics by them seeing you as a powerful man working together with a powerful woman in unity for the advancement of the family first. And maybe Mr. Black Africa, or maybe Mr. Brandon, or maybe myself, or Prince Amir, or any other people I'm speaking to the audience, maybe they can really take that action as an example that I need to do this. But hey, come on and go and trying to convince people the freedom like Harriet Tubman trying to do. She just simply would have shot your ass. She wasn't trying to convince you. If you committed to go ahead on this trail, you ain't gonna sell. You're not gonna sell us out. You ain't gonna get scared. I'm gonna put a bullet in your head. Hard consequences for because the mission has to be oriented. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not a matter of talking and for dialect. This dialect BS is over. Now, if you can't, if you're talking about the women and as far as, I see this horse society. I see this horse on male and female society. You got to get the hell out of this land that allows those rules to be integrated in your life, where people think this stuff is normal. It is not. But for thousands and thousands of years, we lived in harmony. We have strong family. That's one of the things that in order to perpetuate slavery upon us, they had to break the black family. Don't you understand that? That's the nucleus of it. But we can think and we can do for ourselves, and we can come together with those. I'd rather work with 3 to 4 good men than to try to convince like 99 sheep how the hell we should go. I'm not concerned about that no more. You know, I have a mission for my family, myself, the family I will have one day. But you know, it involves uh, uh, it involves land, business, self-preservation, self-actualization, awareness, finding out who I am, finding out where I came from, where I can have my identity back, because I dang sure they can't depend on someone who destroyed that who's misrepresenting that to interpret for me. You know, with Google, I don't have any reason. I would love to get with a strong black woman. What do I mean by strong black woman? Follow my lead. Be submissive. Keep your legs closed to anybody but me. You know, just simple shit. You know, let's think on the family. Let's lead something where we're teaching our children how to run business, how to build something even better than what their father and mother have started. Where we're passing on generational wealth. You know, have multiple passports. You know, be able to move some. Hey, you know, I like to have Mr. Go Black. I like to have Mr. Brandon in my cell phone. Miss Tammy and Miss Samba. These are women like, hey, you know what? I can't teach you, daughter, how to be a woman. You know, your mother is damn sure going to do that, but maybe you need another opinion. I got a woman who's really a leader. She's really living the stuff. This is who I want to put you in front of. Or you go to Mr. Black. Mr. Black, now I'm going to tell you, I'm going to call him and get you an internship, but he ain't going to put up no BS. And you damn sure better not come back misrepresenting me. You know, discipline, order, structure. Hey, you want to go out there and have your babies. You want to go out there and keep killing the kids. You want to go out there and make excuses why the family. You want to go out there and put Pookie and Ray Ray. That's your damn business. And, you know, I don't care. But for as me and my house, we're going to be disciplined. We're going to be conquerors. We're going to rule. And we're going to hang around kings and queens and things like that who understand that. If not, you know, and your circle is going to be through. You know, I have a heart, man. Malcolm gave his life. Martin gave his life. Patrice Kabamba was sold out by his own people. They gave their life trying to take the collective. The collective is one people who are on one accord with you. And if that's 3 people or 500 out of the million, you work with the 500 and you build there, and you don't feel no sorry for the 1 million who didn't have the same opportunity you do. Let them starve out there in the famine, because believe it or not, one is coming. You know, one is coming. We can preach all day long, and we can have these conversations. I don't want someone to say like, "Wow, you know, those guys are really deep." And those women were deep. Forget about deepness. Action. Man, you are the leader. This whole thing defaults on you. You know, a woman attracted to a man with strength. A woman is attracted to a man with a purpose, a plan, and action. A woman's attracted to a man who's a comforter, who's a provider, who has a plan, who is doing it, who understands this. The job gets done. Who can check her and put it in place. Woman ain't got time for damn feelings and shit like this. I'm trying to build something. If you can't do that, hell, I'll go get another one. You got to have boundaries in your house. You got to have boundaries. Then that's like one, well, I can only know I can go so far with Fitzgerald. I only know I can go so far, but at least I got a man. And that man has to have a woman who he knows, while I'm out there fighting these wars, you know, my house is taken care of. I ain't worried about her. That's a woman I can honor and stuff like that. The second you don't see that, you get rid of that. You know, but think an individual. Man, I love Prince. I love him. I really do. My God, but I'm not there to run his house. I've been counseling a young man for years, but I'm not there to run his house. I empower him to make his own decision based on my experience levels of some of the things. And guess what? He empowers me to make my own decision. You know? I mean, and so that's what is needed, you know. And none of these comments, abortion is just it's just a tip. All this other shit, homelessness, wage inequality, a mass incarceration, you know, a unjust medical system, legal system. Women going out there, they're thinking they're going in for one thing, and then they're coming out with crazy ass hysterectomies or sterilization, and they didn't authorize cops hunting your children. You know, because you ain't teaching them how to deal with these damn fools. And then we got mother, whoa, why they do that? Get the hell out of here. Find a plan. Keep your passport where you can travel back and forth. Well, Fitzgerald, they ain't gonna let you do anything. that's your dang problem. You're coming from a position of weak. You let yourself find some stuff that you can bake. I don't give a dang. You need to make Jamaican pot pie. I don't care what you need. You need to sell seashell. Get something that you can mechanize and get your own wealth. That way, that woman's really gonna respect you because you know my husband is a boss. No, she ain't got no business out there working $8 or $10 for another man. You want your woman to come correct. You hire to work in your business. But damn it, don't get one.
Well, Sir Fitzgerald, I'll say.
Let Fitzgerald finish and I have to close out. But go ahead, Fitzgerald.
You want to break down and you want to play with her. You want to play with an honorable vessel. You know, like she's a toy. You playing with her lady parts and stuff like you're a fucking fool. Because you know, children come out there, then you want to say it's a mistake. But you know what, man? You get serious, you adopt this plan or you die. It's just that dang serious. I'm 57 and it's worse right now than any time I've been in my life. And they are slowly cooking you. Just like you put a frog in a vat of hot water. It's fact. I grew up in the country. You put a frog in a vat of hot water, jump him in, he's going to instantly jump out. You sit him in cold water, instantly slowly heat it, he's going to cook until he dies to death. Now, this is my plan. Now, you know, you guys can come up with your own plan, and I taught my plan over serious search of like-minded people here. And I enjoy talking to women who have this mindset. A woman who is, ladies and gentlemen, it's not in the physical beauty. I used to believe that when I was younger. Don't with me. I like fine-ass women. And I apologize. I like fine-ass slim women. Trees, I call them. Okay? that's my preference. But a woman's mind, her femininity, her ability to inspire, to rock with me, to go, because I know where the hell I'm going. No, you know, and so that's my take on it. I appreciate this, but damn it, man, get serious about your individual life. If you don't have anything, you don't know anything for use and stuff like shit, call me. I'll mentor to the youth for free. Call me. I'll give you some things. You know? You know, and so you get out your dang feelings. Woman, get out your feelings. The war is on both of us. But it's particularly on the man. We are the target. We take you out and white cats run you all day long. You know? And so on that note, I'm finished. Man, I don't know how to make. You can't take everybody with you. And some of those are going to be family, ladies and gentlemen. You know, like, here's the promised land. We can go, shit, I got it good right here. These food stands coming in, this wet car coming in. Hell, they even added old chocolate milk on this time and strawberry milk onto the milk plant. You got to leave them. You got to leave them. You have to be strong enough to walk alone. I said that many times in my podcast. You've got to be strong enough. If you're not, you're going to be like a person who's trying to save a drowning man, and he's going to kill you along with him. Because they're going to cling on to you. You don't owe anyone anything. But you will stand before the Creator one day to give an account of what you have done with your time and your life that He's given you on this earth. You want to be respected by women. You want to play polygamy? Okay, be able to take care of all of them you got. You want to give the respect of a woman from afar? Let us see you being so. Let us see you being a dang boss, not sitting up there apologize. Oh, sorry, like that shit, man. Please, fire me, whatever you want to do. I got my own shit. And matter of fact, I give not a good damn what you think. I ain't trying to save the hood, so I'm off on that, and that is not a rant. That's the dang truth. Get serious about your family, your life, and your woman and your children, where they can look at you in honor, where they can say, hey, you know what? You see that cat right there? That's John Fitzgerald Stevens. That's my great-grandfather. That's the man who put all this shit together. And he taught us how to build something. He taught us how to leverage something. All this because we got something from him. You see all those passports you got in? He the one started that. He made connections in Africa. He made connections in Afro Caribbean. He did all that. You see that lady right there? That's one of his great contacts. You know, they started trade companies together. They partnered and stuff like that. You see that man, Amir? The media company? Well, Fitzgerald buying his stuff when he's the one that invested things like that and took a part of that. Boy, he get this message out. Or do you just want the credit? Meanwhile, your children are going to die. You are freaking one damn generation from extinction. Mm-hmm. One generation. And the thinking that the generation have right now, hell, I can even say you freaking up on you. You better get serious, man. Prince, I appreciate it. They sure appreciate it, man. But angry, no. Ain't nothing to be probably get serious about the business of living. Stop making all these dumbass excuses. That's why your woman don't respect you. That's why black women don't respect you, because daddy out there, whatever, daddy or whatever the fuck he call himself, he can sit around there, and he provides income through his government, through his other hustle, and women move to that. Why? Because they're a gold digger? No, they have to have resources. Your job to take care of it.
That's right.
And you can't do that, simply don't get one. Hey, Princess, thank you, man.
Sir Fitzgerald.
No, Alexis, I didn't snap.
Sir Fitzgerald.
Sometimes you got to speak stuff where people understand it. Sometimes you can't talk like, hey, this is Fitzgerald. Man, what y'all doing? They're cool. No, I can speak to King English and everything else. Hey, you know what? It's good to see y'all. You know what, brother, dude? Man, get your ass up. Get your woman, sit your ass down. What the hell are you talking to me like that? As opposed to being a nice boy. This world don't play nice, and nor should you. Go ahead,
well, Sir Fitzgerald, that was very well said, and you need to be on TED Talk, because you got many, many, many valid points, and you got your way of delivering it, and it is you, and I respect that. But at the end of the day, what you communicated is progress for the culture. So.
All right, y'all. We got Fitzgerald. How can people reach out to you? And make sure you guys subscribe to Fitzgerald's page, Find Ways to Win. Again, make sure you subscribe to his YouTube page, Find Ways to Win.
Find Ways to Win, Fitzgerald Stevens. And right after this thing, probably about 15, 20 minutes after I'm going to do a video called The Language of a Man, The Language of a Man. No, that's been on my heart for a while. I'm going to do that. I'm going to tell you what the hell woman you look for. I'm going to tell you, man, what you need to be. And these ain't dang suggestions. This stuff works. Okay? That's if you want to do it. Or do you want to sit up there and say, I'm the victim and the white man doing this, and they don't give me jobs, and they don't do this, and they kept firing me. No woman won't get in the line and stuff, like that. I can't get her. She won't let me leave. So, go ahead, Amir.
Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Like, share, subscribe. Until next time, family. Dynasty Amir, search for Huru. Peace.